Welcome to the Ocean Community 50 Under 50 series, presented by the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce. The road to success starts at Valenti family of auto dealerships, and visibility along the journey increases greatly with the help of 321 Media. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce's 50 Under 50 celebration, powered by Valenti family of dealerships and 321 Media. My name is Ben Barber from 321, and I am so excited because today our 50 Under 50 honoree is Travis Serra, who I have just known for about 45 seconds. Travis, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you for coming down to the studio and doing this today. Now it's the uncomfortable part. It's the only uncomfortable part of the interview. Okay? I'm going to read your bio to you.
All right. Let's hear it.
All right. So bear with me. Travis Serra is the principal owner of Serra Design, an architecture firm he founded in 2019 with a focus on custom coastal residential projects. With a master's degree in architecture from the Boston Architectural College, Travis brings a depth of experience from both residential and commercial firms to his own practice. His work spans Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, with a concentration in coastal towns like Charlestown, Westerly, South Kingstown, and Narragansett. In addition to his architectural work, Travis has devoted over 20 years to emergency services. He currently serves as captain of the Charlestown Ambulance Rescue Service, where he is an active EMT and leader in training and mentoring new recruits. He joined the department at the age of 16 and works closely with his wife, Katie, love it, a paramedic and ERPA at Westerly Hospital. Together, they've helped shape the department's training initiatives, with many of their mentees advancing into careers in medicine and public safety. Travis also serves as a safety officer at the Duns Corners Fire Department, overseeing crew safety during emergency operations and training sessions. His dual commitment to design and public safety earned him and Katie the Chief Frederick A. Stanley Dedicated Service Award from the Rhode Island Southern Firefighters League in 2020. When not working or volunteering, Travis enjoys boating, supporting URI basketball, go Rowdy, and that was editorialized.
Yep.
And spending time with his family. He remains deeply committed to continuing his family's legacy of service throughout Westerly and Charlestown communities. Travis Serra, welcome.
Thank you. That was a pretty good intro.
It was a good intro. How do you feel about that?
Good.
Any inaccuracies in there?
No, that's
no. That's how amazing I am. Yeah.
No, not at all.
I
just wasn't expecting that, so that was pretty good.
I'm just giving you a hard time because I know that you were a little uncomfortable with the spotlight on you today.
Yep.
This is usually a question I'll ask at the end. But what did it mean to you to be nominated as one of the 50 Under 50?
It was a big surprise. I definitely wasn't expecting it. Like everybody else, I feel like, what I do is, nothing, no different than, somebody else.
Yeah.
Going to work, trying to serve the community, and, just trying to raise, a nice, healthy, fun family.
Yeah.
So this was a very nice surprise.
Awesome. You grew up here?
I did. I grew up in Westerly.
Nice. Very cool.
Yep.
And were you always interested in EMS services, being a first responder?
Yeah. So basically, I grew up with it. My father was is retired now, police officer in Charlestown. He kind of grew up in the public, service. He was a volunteer with the Watch Hill Fire Department. He did Weekapaug security, which then transitioned into a law enforcement career. My mother, she is a X-ray technician at Kent County Hospital. So kind of helping the community has always kind of been, in the family, and, something that was often discussed in, the house on a daily basis. Yeah. So when I turned, I don't remember. When I was in high school, we had to do a community service in order to graduate, just a standard, requirement. My father was like, hey, why don't you go and check out Charlestown Ambulance and, go down, ride the trucks, get some time and, fulfill that requirement. And then
Did you go to Cheraho, Westerly, Prout?
Westerly.
Westerly.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I figured it wasn't Cheraho because we didn't go to school together. And
No.
we're roughly the same age.
Yeah. No, so grew up in Westerly, right down kind of the beginning of Watchwell Road, and I ended up in Charlestown just because my father was down there.
Yeah.
And never looked back from there with regarding Charlestown.
Awesome. Well, it's a great town.
Yeah,
Charlestown's fantastic. Where did architecture come in?
Architecture. So I always liked to build things. I was always playing with Lincoln Logs, Legos, whatnot. I started to kind of swing a hammer, and then I realized, I really liked the technical aspect of things, but then also basically taking a sketch and really turning it into a reality. So then I started interning with a firm in Narragansett, and that then segued into a true passion that I knew that I wanted to follow. And internships turned into part-time employment, turned into going to school, which then obviously turned into full-time employment.
Wow. And then starting your own business.
Yes, I am very, very fortunate. I have a extremely supportive wife. And basically the goal was always to round out the resume. So I worked at custom, high-end residential firms.
Sure.
I worked at a design build firm. Then I went up to Providence, worked at a firm where we worked on everything but residential. So commercial, institutional, did a bunch of work at Harvard, MIT, stuff like that. And then right before my wife and I had kids, we were kind of at the crossroads of, would my own firm kind of be something that I would be interested in? That would be the time to do it. And, I took the plunge, jumped in both feet, and started right around kind of COVID. That was a little nerve wracking. There was a couple weeks where I was like, oh boy, made the wrong decision here. But then, I was very fortunate, and the phone started to ring, and it hasn't stopped ringing since. My office is down in Charlestown. It's just myself, so it's nice because I can flex.
Yeah,
I can take the small jobs, but then also, I can take the bigger things. Between the resume, the experience, and then also establishing relationships along the way, I can bring in other people to take on larger jobs.
So what does, and I like, it's so funny because architect is like this big job that that people aspire to, but like on a day to day, you said you can take a small job or a huge job. Like, what does that entail? Explain it like I'm 5, because I make videos for a living. And
believe me, my 4-year-old asks me questions every single day about it. But it's I do about 90% custom residential.
Okay.
So somebody will reach out to me basically saying, I'm interested in putting an addition on my house, to renovating my house, I want to build a brand new house.
Yeah.
And basically I take them through the whole process, everything from, conceptual sketches, and, we transition that then into, schematic drawings, figuring out, their lifestyle really, and how they want to live and how they want to inhabit the space. And then I bring it right to the production drawings of how that house actually is put together. So we start from a napkin sketch all the way to the blueprints, if you will, of the house. And then obviously once construction starts, I assist with just construction management, making sure everything's going according to plan, and making sure the client is getting the product that they're looking for and they desire.
That makes a lot of sense. And of course, just on our coastline of Westerly, I know you've done stuff all over New England, but just on our coastline of Westerly, Charlestown, South Kingstown, Narragansett,
Mm-hmm.
some of the most gorgeous houses in the world that people are constantly renovating.
Yes. And what's really nice too is when somebody seeks out services from myself, they're really looking. They want to put the time and effort into the design. You know, they really care about what they're looking for. They really want to, you know, enjoy the space and really have a product that they can call home. The other thing also to mention is the closer you get to the water, the more challenging and obstacles that you come upon regarding just designing the house. And that could be everything from, you know, your requirements regarding flood zones, your proximity to wetlands, to coastal features, to high wind zones, and everything like that. So really, you really need somebody to help navigate that process, to, again, have the client get what they ultimately want, but then also to design per the local regulations.
That makes a ton of sense. What is the, do you have, like, you don't have to like explain it because it's someone's house, but do you have like a personal favorite thing that you got to design, or like a style that you like to design in? Like,
what I like to tell my clients is a lot of architects and designers, they have their own design, you know, so a lot of people will seek them out for that specific style. You know, if you were to ask me, Travis, what's your design? New England shingle style, you know, stone accents, metal roof accents, shingle flares, crown molding, and whatnot. But what I pride myself on is the client, it's their house. They're the boss, you know, whatever you want, you know, we'll design too. So if you come to me and say, hey, Travis, I want a mid-century modern house, absolutely. You know, if you know, I want a, you know, you name it, you know, it's not just, you know, one specific style. It's really whatever the client is looking to do, we can really just make their reality, you know, come true.
And do you have contractors that you like to work with, as far as like, this is my vision for this, and by the way, this is the roofing company that I think would really nail what I'm trying to do here?
Yeah, it's not so much roofing company.
Well,
it's
just whatever it may be.
Exactly. Yes, to answer your question, you know, I have a lot of builders that I work with and that I recommend. You know, some clients will come to me and say, hey, I have a builder already in mind. This is who I want to work with. Absolutely. Sure. Other clients are looking for, you know, my recommendation. So the short list of builders, I take that very seriously, because when someone's asking me for my recommendation, that's a reflection on me. And that's an extension of my name and my reputation. So, you know, to then, you know, regarding kind of the builders too, is depending on the type of project or the scale of the project, or even the location of the project, will also depend on, you know, who I may refer for a builder. Awesome. But there are so many guys out there, you know, it's every day somebody's coming to me, you know, oh, have you heard of this guy? You know, just because somebody hasn't heard of them doesn't mean they're good or bad. Right. You know, I look at it as it's a potential new opportunity to establish a new relationship with.
How did you and Katie meet?
Ironically, at the rescue building through the department. So it's which is hilarious, because one of my number one recommendations to any new member is don't date anybody within the department. Yeah. But you just want to close the door behind you. Yeah, I broke the number one rule, but it worked out. You know, it worked out for me, you know, splendidly. No one else gets to be happy here. No, it's a dangerous thing to do, and you happen to luck out. Yes. But yeah, no, it was pretty funny. That's great. And then, so what do you like to do for fun when you have downtime between your business and you know, saving lives? Well, saving lives. Yeah. I don't know why you think that's funny. No, yeah, it's just when it's. I mean, if you ask any first responder, like it's one of those things where when you put it into that context, you don't really kind of,
You know what's funny? I think that you yourself are like, no, I don't save. Chris, does he save lives?
Every so often.
Every so often, yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, we got somebody else in the room that can
Yeah.
that can vouch for you.
Yeah.
Every so often. It's a great line.
You know, honestly, my downtime is public safety. That is fun for me. And that's why I've been able to do it as long as I have, because I don't see it as a chore. I see it as a hobby, as, something that I enjoy. And the ability to give back to the community is, something, that I value very strongly. The other thing too is I see it as an opportunity, because there's very few departments where volunteerism is still allowed. So, we have a lot of members that are looking to go to med school. They're looking to go to PA school, NP school, or to be a firefighter or to be a police officer. And, what really sets their applications apart from others are, the resume of true ride time, if you will. So what I absolutely love is basically bringing in these new members and give them an opportunity that somebody may not also have, and really, put them onto the path of a career, And what's also amazing too is, I've been doing this long enough now where there have been a lot of people that have gone through the ranks, have gone on to their careers, but I make sure to keep in contact with all of them. So I'm then able to bring, say, a doctor back to do a presentation, to do a training. A full-time firefighter, may come back and do assist with an extrication training for like car accident training or something like that. And you get to really see the full circle. My wife, she's a PA at Westerly ER. We've established a relationship now with the hospital where we can actually get members into the hospital to do essentially shadow time with them, so they can actually see firsthand, hey, I want to be a PA. Well, they get to follow Katie around to see what a PA does on a daily basis. So it's really kind of full circle, give everybody full experience, a full experience. And it's a win-win, because now those guys are also now volunteering with the departments, and they're also contributing to the community as well.
That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about your work as safety officer for Dunn's Corners?
Yeah. So I'm safety officer for Dunn's Corners Fire Department.
What does that entail?
So basically, at minimum, it's overall safety. Specifically, larger scenes, larger calls, structure fires. The number one priority is really, safety for not only the victims, at the call, but really our own members, especially where, when an incident occurs, everybody has their own tasks, and the safety officer's number one priority is really making sure everybody on scene is staying safe and is accounted for. And it's really, an extra pair of eyes, really, to, making sure if there are any hazards that, we either stay clear of them, or we make sure we mitigate the situation, appropriately, so that way everybody's staying safe.
Sure. Well, you received you and Katie actually received the Chief Stanley Dedicated Service Award. How was that to get that honor, but also get that honor with your wife?
So that was also a surprise. That was a very, very big honor. Especially, I mean, that's a big deal, in the first responder world, especially in South County. So to receive that award, because that's not only a reflection upon just the departments that, that I'm a part of, but it's voted upon, departments throughout the entire, Southern League, which is plus or minus Washington County. So to receive that, it's you know, it was very, very, very special. Sharing it with my wife, I mean, that made it that much more special. Because I know a big contributing factor of being awarded that honor was a true team effort, and it was a lot of it had to do with training that next generation of people. So it was a great surprise.
When did the awards start? Because I know he passed away in 2019, Chief Stanley. I mean,
We were one of the first.
I was gonna say,
recipients.
were you the first recipient or
I believe we were
Second?
the second. We were
okay?
the second. So it was, like I said, it was a great honor.
That's really cool.
That one's hanging right up on the wall in the office.
I remember growing up in Richmond and always being in Hope Valley, running into Chief Stanley many
Chief Stanley,
times.
he's a legend.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's very cool, and what an honor for both of you to get that together is so cool. Did you go to URI or do you just support the basketball team?
So I did not go to URI.
Okay.
I went to.
Hey, I didn't go to URI either, and go Rams. So.
Yeah. No, my very, very close friend Christopher Koretsky got me involved with the URI basketball.
I hear that guy is not that great.
Yeah, it's.
I hear he's.
I gotta say that guy is everywhere. And the URI basketball games is
Sometimes
just.
I feel like he's watching us.
It's funny. There's a small group of guys. It's a good opportunity to go and unplug.
Yeah.
Especially during the season, we have season tickets. We go up there, watch a game, and it's a good opportunity just to kind of relax, hang out with the guys, and watch a basketball game. Yeah. So
it's great basketball too.
Yeah, no, it absolutely
most
is.
of the time, at least.
Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time. And of course, when we were young, like they were amazing with Coutinho Mobley and Lamar Odom and stuff. So, who wasn't a fan of URI basketball 20 years ago?
Yeah.
When did you get into boating?
Boating, I believe it or not. So I guess I'm kind of in charge of the marine assets for Charleston Rescue. I did not grow up boating, and it was one of those things where, 12 years ago now. I live in Charleston now, and I live probably the closest to where we keep the Charleston Rescue boat. And so the upper management at the time was
so hey, you're gonna learn to love boating, boy.
You're gonna love boating. You're gonna.
I don't know why I said boy. I meant to say kid, and boating boy just flowed off the tongue better. So apologies.
Yeah. No. So it really kind of started again. Learning the waters with the rescue boat, and then that just kind of took off. So I help out with obviously with Dunn's Corners, with they also have a marine asset as well, and then now with my young family, we just purchased a little whaler just to kind of get around. I live on Ninigret Pond in Charlestown.
Nice.
So get the kids out in the water, get them familiar with fishing, playing with the jellyfish, stuff like that.
What are some of your favorite things to do with the wife and kids?
If you were to ask my 4-year-old son, he would say hang out at the fire station, hang out at the rescue building.
That makes sense.
But
who doesn't love fire trucks?
Yeah, exactly.
And ambulances.
We're beach bums. Any opportunity that we can get to go to either the beach or be on the pond, we love clamming and bring the clams back and have a nice spaghetti clams dinner.
Now, is that something that you grew up with?
Not as much as I would have thought I would have, considering just kind of living in Westerly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's honestly my wife. She kind of grew up doing it. So beach, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the whole kind of clamming, hanging out in the pond and stuff like that, that definitely comes.
Is she local as well?
She grew up in Rehoboth, Mass.
Okay.
But her parents had a like a beach house in Charlestown.
Nice.
So she grew up going to coming down to Charlestown and stuff like that. That's how she ended up at the rescue.
Yep.
And we showed up together one night on a Sunday night to ride the truck, and that's how we met there. But but yeah, so we were pretty familiar with Charlestown.
Awesome. What are what's your favorite part? And then it's probably going to be the ocean and stuff like that, but we answer whatever you want to answer. What's your favorite part about living in this portion of the world? Like this like our community. Obviously you grew up here, Westerly, Charahoe, you live in Charlestown, work in Charlestown, grew up in Westerly. Like, what is your, obviously you could have left, right? You're an architect. You could go be an architect anywhere.
Yep.
Why stay? What draws you to this place?
Well, family. I am close to my family. All of my family, they kind of hung around as well. So I talk to them on a daily basis. But just for South County, it's a hidden gem. It's so beautiful. I could never ever imagine living away from the ocean. It's a hidden gem, but yet we're still accessible. Short drive up to Boston, get down to New York City. We have friends in New York City that we go down and see often. But just the ability to where I enjoy the influx of people in the summertime, but then in the off season, I enjoy that as well. I think, the September, October, in this area is probably the most beautiful time of year, anywhere in the world. It's beautiful. It's low key. You still can kind of go to the beach, you hang out, and, it's just relaxing. And then obviously the ability to give back to the community, that option is there, that ability is there, and there's so many different abilities to do that as well. I specifically obviously went in the route with public service or fire rescue and whatnot, but between the food pantry, between the ride can, between the Rotary Club, there's so many different opportunities, and I think that really makes us unique.
I agree. Why do you think you were chosen for one of the 50 under 50?
I mean, geez, that's probably a pretty tough question.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to actually make you answer that question. I was. Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mess with you a little bit because I know, like, when we started, just so you know, when we started, Travis was like, we don't need to go 30 minutes. We don't need to, Chris, his friend Chris is here, who's also a 50 under 50. They were like, we can do this together. I was like, Travis, like, just chill. Like, we got this. You got this. How long do you think we've been talking for?
I have no idea. 20 minutes.
6.5 minutes.
Really? No.
30.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
you're
right.
done. You're done,
Made
man.
it through.
You're done. Well, technically it's 28 minutes and 30 seconds, but
All right.
you're done. So if people wanted to contact you, I'm sure that they have fallen in love with you during this episode. If they wanted to contact you and get a house built, get something, and you work in commercial as well in your current.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's primarily residential, but depending on the commercial job, we can, I can definitely take care of you.
How do they contact you for that?
So, website that is accessible. It's currently under construction.
Okay.
I get most of my work 100% of my work is word of mouth, which I'm very, very, very fortunate of. But you can find me, Serra Design, ri.com. A lot of my current work lives social media, Facebook, Instagram. Again, Serra Design RI. Just Google me. You'll find me. You'll find my phone number.
I'm sure.
Whatever you need.
And then if somebody wanted to follow your footsteps and get involved in either the Charlestown Rescue or Dunn's Corners Fire or anything like that, how does somebody get involved with that?
Reach out to me. I can, even if it's not one of those departments, say somebody that's in Richmond wants to, I've got relationships all over South County, and I would be 100%, over the moon to help, get them to wherever they need to be. But yeah, I mean, go on either website. My email is on the websites. I believe my phone number is even on, Charleston Rescue and Dunn's Corners, and or even reach out to me through my business as well. I'm super accessible, and I'd love to help anybody get involved, especially with volunteering. We definitely need all the help we can get.
Travis, you're amazing. And honestly, for the last 30 minutes, you have answered the question as to why you were chosen as one of the 50 under 50. I keep saying that I love when someone who I've known for a long time comes in the door and is one of the honorees. And I love even more when somebody I've never met comes in and I get to know so much more about them in a half hour. And you're amazing. So
thank you.
This has been fantastic.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, I mean, listen, the only thing I did is interview you. But I will say thank you to the Ocean Community Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to Valenti Family of Dealerships and 321 Media, which is weird because that's me thanking myself. But thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on 50 Under 50.